You guys can hear me. You guys can hear me. Um, I just woke up to this and I was really upset. I'll talk about my dream in a minute. But my thing is, what do when the enemy is your own? What do you do when the enemy is your own? See, this whole thing I've been through is nothing but a setup. This whole thing. What happens if the person that's really trying to do you in and trying to do all this evil stuff to you is your own seed? See, I had two dreams. It was like, I could talk about the first one, but the second one was really, the first one was profound. It was the first one. The second one was, okay, let's just talk about it. And it's something kind of, suspicions has been surfacing like mad, like wildfire. Sometimes, you know what, all the witchcraft and black magic you going on and you having and all these evil things you going through. Like, for instance, if you're a child of God, if you're an angel, or you're a child of the King, child of the true living King, the one from Zion, heaven. And then you wonder why you got so much witchcraft and black magic, but you have so much fogginess in your brain, why you can't eat, or better yet, you overeat. Or you wonder why, people are not talking to you and being around you. And you wonder why all these things are happening. Sometimes the enemy is right next to you and you don't even realize it. Lying through their teeth. Because you got to understand something. If you had a child with a demon man, and I'm going to tell you, if you had a child with a demon man, women, this man was trifling. He did black magic and witchcraft. He did all kinds of evil things to you. That was a setup from the enemy. This was the devil's camp. He set you up to make sure that you had a demon seed to keep you down, to keep you just in a horrible position. And then your love was going to constantly pour out on that child because that's your child. But what happens when your child goes rogue? I mean, I constantly see these stories where these parents are sold out or killed by their own kids, not realizing that that child was a demonic child because that child came from what we call Satan spawned. What happens when you realize that the reason why you're going through so much is because of your own child? Lying to everybody, trying to make it seem like you're somebody that you're not. You constantly catching them in lies and lies, more lies. What do you do when the main person doing the witchcraft and black magic was trained by witches and warlocks around you to keep you down, to keep you unseen, for them to suck all the energy out of you and keep you small? What do you do when you're behind the gun? To the point where this child don't even want to pray with you no more. Y'all don't fast no more. This child don't want to do nothing dealing with the Word of God. Don't want to read the Bible no more. But then every time you look up, you feel drained. Every time you look up, you're going through all kinds of little demonic things, happening to you, and you constantly praying through it. What do you do when that child is pushing nothing but lies to everybody to keep them away from you, to make it seem like you are the bad person? Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to trust God, and I'm going to fast and pray in the process, and I'm going to do my protection against all involved You see people of God, if you going through this, if you having these people, these children, and they all working as witches and warlocks, sometimes the devil will get your own. And this is what I had a dream about. And it kind of confirmed some suspicions I had. Excuse me. And then we keep sneezing. Ugh. Well, listen. They said sneezing is when you are being elevated or your alignment. Excuse me. When you are becoming in alignment with your higher calling, your higher calling. Your body is trying to get out all the bad stuff, basically. Your energy level is rising with each time you do something like something that the this lady said on one of her broadcasts, saying that you. Well, anyway, I'll see if I can find it and post it on my YouTube link. But back to what I was saying. This dream, I was sitting up, and I was it's like I was a mother, like a new mother or whatnot, and I'm sitting up and I'm just rocking my child to sleep and with my baby, and I'm just really loving on her like she was a little girl, and I'm doing her hair, and I'm just pouring so much love into her, right? Well, she kept going, and time went on, and you guys had a good life together and everything. Well, you sit back here and things start changing in her when she look. And as life and time went on, child, even though connected to you, or she was connected to me, she started changing. It's like her light started dimming, almost like, I don't know how to describe it, y'all. It was like almost like she was changing. Like, even though she was walking with me and we were doing all these things together, she started changing. Like, her skin started changing. Even though she looked the same, and it's like, even though she looked the same, her skin starts changing. And I was like, what's wrong with your skin? What's wrong with you? She's like, nothing's wrong. I'm fine, Mom. And every time she said that, it was like her skin would change. And then it came around to it at the end of it. Well, basically at the end of the dream, because me and her did a lot of walking and talking, it would change. Like, every time that happened, her skin would change. And then it was a time when she wasn't with me, and then she came back. Her skin was totally like changing, like it was changing or metamorphosing. Thank you, Lord. Metamorphosing into something different than me. And then by the time I looked over at her again, she was totally different than what it was. And it was like she was just like, "No, Mom, I'm fine." Even though her mouth said it, her eyes and her body was totally changed. And I woke up from that first dream, because it was two, okay? I woke up from the first dream with her, and I didn't get it at first, y'all. I didn't get it at first. I didn't understand. Anyway, moving forward, I sat back here and I went back to sleep, because I woke up around about 12, like 12:30, maybe 12:34 or something like that, maybe 12:31, between 12:31 to 12:34, and I went back to sleep. And the second dream was pretty profound too. The second dream was about, I was sitting up and I was on this boat, like I was on the ship. I was on this ship. I was on this boat. It was just me and my son. It was just me and my son. My daughter wasn't with me. And We were supposed to be in a cabin. We supposed to be in on something, some kind of cabin. But the thing is, we wasn't. We had to be at the bottom of the ship with other people. Um, I don't know about this ship. I don't know what was about it. But we were sitting at the bottom of a ship with other people, and they had kids in there. They had different people. It was different races of people. It wasn't just black people. It wasn't like a slave ship, okay? But it was like different races of people. You know, it was like they overpacked the boat, and so, and then my reservations were something happened with my reservations where they didn't give me the room like they're supposed to. So they put me at the bottom of the ship, and that's where I stayed. And we had to stay there and basically make the best of it. But we was on like this hard steel, whatever this hard steel was, and it was like a lot of us on the bottom of this ship just laying there. That's how we had to, you know, travel. So anyway, we're on the ship and everything, and I'm making friends with different people there, different races of people there, and they're just really, kind of sweet people. But anyway, we finally docked on the, I guess wherever we were going, we finally, docked. And as we were getting ready to get off the boat, it was these men in these military fatigues and all this, like these, what's it called? It was like police and military fatigues. They all were there, and they stopped everybody and they asked for people to come off the boat first. Like, I guess dignitaries and everybody. They asked, them to come off the boat first. And so they called for me. And I was at the bottom of the ship with everybody else. And the men and the police and everybody, they were appalled. They was like, wait a minute. Why were you? And I said, this is where they had me. It's like, no, 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 you had a cabin. You had the best cabin. I was like, sir, they refused to give that to me. And so, of course, the police and everybody got mad. Wherever I was, whatever, I don't know what country I was in, but it was like they were really upset that I was at the bottom of the ship on this. I didn't even have a room. We were just like on the side of the wall, sitting on this hard steel floor. And so when I looked, they said, no, you're supposed to be at the top cabin over here. It was some other light skinned, white, Hispanic. It was like different races. These girls came out of my cabin and they were laughing. And they were like acting like they were me. Oh, an Indian. It was an Indian girl there. Like she's from India or Turks and Caicos or some shit. I don't know. Excuse my language, y'all. These girls really made me mad because basically what they did was manipulated the whole thing where they were getting my benefits and I was at the bottom like I was a slave or something at the bottom of the ship. Or I was a worker. Basically, I was with the workers. Matter of fact, I was lower than the workers because even the workers had a place to lay, like beds and stuff to lay their heads. We didn't have that. We had to be on the side like we were stowaways or something. But anyway, they sat back here and they found out that these girls did a lot of stuff. And even the dignitaries and everybody, they fooled the dignitaries and everybody. They were like, oh my God, you did this and you said this. And for 3 days, we thought you were, if these girls was laughing, they thought it was funny that they did this to me. And they like fooled everybody. And so when it got down to it, these girls was arrested. They wanted to go back to America and all this other stuff. And they said, no, this is a huge offense, a crime you do in this country. They said maybe in America you can get away with it, but here we give you severe punishment. So they was tried and put into prison for years for that. I think for like about 2-3 years because they were acting like they were something that they wasn't. So anyway, they said that's tried. They said they was tried for like 3 years or something, like 1 to 3 years or something like that in prison time in their country. They get for acting like you're somebody that you're not. They had really strict laws. So anyway, I was telling the people that I was at the bottom, and it didn't bother me because I made so many good friends. I was able to introduce them to other dignitaries that was looking for people that was I guess they were looking for workers, and I met so many good people down there at the bottom of the ship that I was able to introduce them to some of the dignitaries that was looking for workers. I said, "Well, hey, this is I forgot the people's names I said in my dreams, but I was introducing them to the actual dignitaries. They were getting their information saying, well, we're going to call you first for work." And so, anyway, that jump from that part of the dream to this is where it gets hard. Okay. Okay. I go from that part of the dream to me going in and looking at these pictures of these people. And I'm very upset because some of the people in these pictures that was so-called dignitaries in this place where I was the same men and some women that was in America lying through their teeth about me to keep me small and to keep me hidden and to keep me bound here. Same people over, it was over in my country. It's like, I guess I was over at my country, looking at these people and all these pictures and stuff on the wall. And I'm like, you evil. They were lying to the people where I was. They were lying. It's like I was in a whole committee. And it wasn't just me. It was me and other military and also FBI, CIA people. Everybody was putting all of their notes and works together to put together the pieces of what happened. And in the midst of all that, I'm looking at these pictures, and they were taking the pictures down, though. This is one thing about it. They were taking the pictures down off of the walls, okay? But for years, they had these people's pictures on the walls like they were good people. And these people were doing the most hideous and horrific things to me and to others. Like other people, they just like, it was appalling what they were doing. It was just sickening. I mean, the hell they put on people's lives like me and others, the hell they was putting us through just for them to have money and to have fortune and fame and some kind of status. And some of the people were old people, like they were like they was in their 70s and 80s now. When I saw them, they went from that part of me going to the okay, let me shut down. There's so much in this last one, y'all. Okay, so basically we was at this long table and I was basically pointing out what I remembered about certain people, what they were and who their real name was, what they really did. I was up in here putting together the pieces of the puzzle. And then after that, it was a lot of friends from high school, people that I knew in college. They all was in on it, y'all. It was like I was seeing so many faces I grew up with. I woke up crying, y'all. I was so mad. It was like different key people was working against me for 40 to 50 years, just making sure that they keep their money. And it was thousands of people getting paid, thousands upon thousands of people getting paid to make sure that the truth don't come out. Well, this was the thing. When I sat here and I saw all the hell and I saw everything that was done, I literally just fell down and cried. I just literally, and this is why I woke up crying to this, but that was neither here nor there. Wait a minute, I got one more part I got to talk about. I think I'm forgetting out. Okay, so let me go back. I sit back here and I decided to go and pay my respects to my family because it was like all of my family members over there were murdered, were killed. And it was people acting like they were my family, but they were not. It was like they were killing them off with poison. Something about the poison in the food, poison in the water. It was like they was poison. It's like these people who were acting like they were these people. They sent in I guess you call them hitmen, to poison and kill each family member that was a part of my lineage. They wanted them all dead. And they killed off quite a few of them. There was dignitaries, people who had important positions. And the thing is that they would substitute them with the people that was here in America and over in other countries to try to act like they are these people when they are not. You see what I'm saying? It was like a switcheroo. And I was there to basically put together the real pieces of the people I knew. Like, no, that person's name is this. This ain't he lives here. He grew up here. He was here. It was like I was putting all these pieces together for the headman. Because I knew who these real people, I knew who these fake folks were. I knew their real names. I knew everything about them. Because I basically grew up with them, or I knew them through, the people that I was around here in America. It's like I knew them. So I was basically filling in the holes of who these people really were, the ones that I knew. But then it was other people there filling in for other people that they knew. Like, it wasn't just me. It was another couple of people there that was like, no, this person is this name. No, they grew up here. Or no, this person's name is this and that. It's like we just fill in the gaps. Okay, I said that already. Now let me go to this third part, which is really sad. I said I want to pay the respects of my people. Well, the thing was, I was really upset because it was like a casket beside me, okay? It was a casket beside me. And I was talking to this lady through this window. And I told her I want to bury my mother next to my grandmother. And it was like another day and everything. My son was with me, not my daughter, just my son. And I was like, I want to pay my respects to my grandmother, but I want her daughter buried next to her. And then they were like, the lady in the window was like, your mom is locked up. Your mom is locked up. And I said, no, I don't know who y'all have that's locked up. I said, this is my mother's body. And I showed her the paperwork. And the lady, like, eyes got huge. She was like, what? No, 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 no. This can't be. What? It was like and she had that accent, like an African accent. But she was like, no, no, no. What? No, no, no. What? And she sat back here and she made a phone call or two on the phone or on her cell phone or whatever. And she was like, come here quickly. Oh my God. And she's like, we got it wrong. We got it so wrong. It was wrong. And I was like, what's wrong, ma'am? What's going on? She was like, she's your mother. And she said, Queen somebody. I can't think of the name. She said she was the queen. She was the queen. And these men came around, it was another group of men. Wasn't the same ones, but another group of men came around. And they said, let me see the paperwork. Let me see. And there was a white guy came around too. And he was like, let me see that. And they just looked and they started putting their hands on their head. Like, oh my God. Oh no. Oh no. It's like they knew whatever they did, they made a huge mistake. It was like they were like bewildered. They were bewitched. They were really upset at themselves for something that they thought or something that was going on. And then after that, I guess the guy who was over the country, he came down. I mean, I'm literally there sitting down with my son, like, what is going on? And they were like, oh, well, they said something about me already helping out with the investigation. I said, yes, sir, I'm already doing that. I said, but I really want my mother buried next to her mom. And I kept saying that. I really want my mom buried next to her mother. next to my grandmother. I want her buried next to her. And so that's all I asked. That's all I wanted, you know. And I kept saying that in my dream. And huh, I finally got my wish, but it went through a lot of red tape, y'all. It was like in my dream, like I was exhausted from so many lies and allegations and things that were said and things that were done. It was so much going on. But at the end of it, it's like I finally got, what I wanted, and they was able to bury my mother next to my grandmother. And I sat there and I cried a little bit in my dream. And I just, paid my respects. And I told them, it's like I told my grandmother and my mother some things kind of personal there at the gravesite. And I told them I loved them. My son said some things at the gravesite too. And we walked away. And but the thing was, when I got ready to walk away, something scared me because it was like all these men started rushing to me, like police started rushing to me. And I was like scared or something. And it jumped from that part because it's like they were running to me or something. Something about them running to me. I don't know if they're trying to arrest me or something, or I did something wrong. I didn't know. But they were like literally running to me and my son. And I was like, almost felt like I was in trouble or something. I was like, what did I do? And so anyway, I woke up in that part. And well, the thing was, I sat back here and I was really upset when I woke up this past time because it was like so much. And I know this is just a vision or a dream ahead of time, and I know it has a lot of meaning. A lot of stuff that people think that you don't pay attention to, you pay attention to. I said on my broadcast, my Facebook Live, like about a year or two ago, like a year ago, I said that God showed me that I was a baby in a cradle, and this man in black came in and stole me, and then I was on the water, traveling across seas. I said that on my Facebook Live last year. On this one, it was like I'm traveling back across the waters again to a country I knew nothing about. And this is my second time I've had a dream where I'm traveling over water, going to a country I don't know where, and me just trying to get some clarity on why this is happening. I've already said in previous broadcasts that my DNA was different from the people here from the time I needed blood infusions and transfusions. I even talked about how an Indian doctor tried to force O positive into my bloodstream at UAMS, and it put me in the hospital where my blood was clotting and I could barely breathe, and I was literally in the ICU, or because they had to thin out the blood and everything. Then they put me on more medicine to try to get the blood to work, and it wasn't. My blood was clotting everywhere. They tried to put me on what you call it for your heart and everything. What's it, blood thinners and for your heart. And I just went to a whole fast. I went to a whole 40-day fast, praying, asking God to get this mess out of me. And He did. I had 3 periods in a 40-day fast. My body was getting rid of that blood in me. They gave me O positive, and my blood type was RH negative or O negative. Well, they said I'm RH negative. They said the only blood that would work for me is O negative blood. And it's been like this since I've been a kid, since I've been a baby. and I've had to have blood work done. I've always had O negative. And I knew that ever since I was in high school and I needed blood then. So that was my senior year. So them giving me O positive out of nowhere, I knew they was trying to do something like kill me. I even got the evidence on that. I took all kinds of pictures on that too. But anyway, this has been a horrible life experience. Even with my college degree being destroyed by these people called family, my certifications I got being destroyed by these people called family, constantly being stolen from doctors and lawyers that's supposed to been trying to uphold the law and do the right things. They stealing from me. And then family members stealing trust funds. I mean, this has been a horrific life. Even to the point where now I'm realizing that my own seedling is siding against me to get whatever. This has been a horrible life. And I'm still waiting on the restoration and the vindication of God to pass up and say, hey, it's time for you to come out of this. 47 years, 46, 47 years of bondage is more than enough. And this is just life, just trying to fight through, to be who you say you are, to live and breathe, to have the rights of a human being. This is the hell I had to deal with. Constantly being kicked out of every place you go, unjustifiably. Just because these people want to laugh and put you back on a couch and make you homeless. I was homeless most of my life, sleeping on people's couches, and then as soon as I get stable, here come these people coming here making a mockery of my life, getting me fired unjustifiably again, finding any way to try to get me kicked out of my place, my home that I spent 2 and 3 years in, thinking I'm going to get myself a better footing just to make it. And then when I came close to buying my own home, somebody went in on my credit report and literally put chapter 13, chapter 11, chapter 7, and I never filed for it. It wasn't even anything on there talking about the lawyer's office or anything that did it. It was nothing there, and that stayed on my credit for another 10 years to keep me from buying any home. And this was unjustifiably because I could not get it off. No matter who I talked to, whatever I did, these people were doing this. This has been my life of nothing but torture and horror. Because I'm not going to talk about the men that came to my life that I did not choose, but these men were evil as hell to sit back here and constantly try to do stuff against me. So I stopped dating. Any app I use, I'm getting nothing but criminals. And I'm like, how the hell you get on an app with millions of people on here, but I'm getting nothing but criminals? Set up. No matter what app I used, it was nothing but criminals. And I'm like, how the hell I'm getting nothing but criminals when I got a college degree down here? I take the test and I score high on it, but I'm getting criminals? So I stopped doing dating apps. If I did have a good relationship with somebody, it would go to crap. So I stopped dating. This is just some of the things I have to go through with dealing with people, but dealing with these gang stalkers. And the gang stalkers come from evil tail men who you move on from. And they form these covens, and they do black magic and witchcraft. They're witches and warlocks. They call themselves men of the gospel. Or they plant themselves in churches to make them look good. They plant themselves in churches to make them look like they're dignitaries, and they're the most horrific things ever made. And any man who's even in the Word of God or in the actual church house would know if they use their time on their knees to pray and ask the Father, ask the Creator to show them the truth. He will expose all of these demonic men. If the people in the actual justice system would get on their knees and pray, the righteous ones, ask the Father to show you the truth, He will reveal them. He will reveal all the evil. And then He'll give you the actual courage to go against it. This company called CERN, it's others. It's not just that one, it's another one. It's two more. They all work for the dark, and they all talk about they get their power from darkness, and they are part of witches and warlock covens and stuff. Y'all gonna have to find these places and break it down. They have these reincarnate souls to come in and try to get these things going in the right direction. These people are very like high elite people. Okay? They're in the elite status. They in the one percenters. Or they are, if they're not in the one percenters, they're very good friends with them. If it's any righteous people in the one percenters, y'all better break down y'all covens and witches and warlock covens, because they're trying to bring in a darkness that's going to be horrible on this earth. It's going to destroy children, family, people, even your own family. Because one thing about it, two things for sure. If the Lord decides to bring in those 3 days of darkness, demons don't care about your status. They're going to come in and get whoever and whatever vessel they got to get in order to possess that person. And that person's going to turn around and do some of the most horrific things to you. Because they're not going to have an actual soul that can take on a demonic entity. Y'all seen The Conjurer. Y'all seen The Omen. Y'all seen these different movies. This is not for play. Look into real exorcism work. These things turn evil quickly. So y'all gonna have to find those other two companies that's doing that they made the same model as that company CERN. They made the same model, the exact same thing, and they're trying to open up that portal. And if they shooting holes into the protection of God around this earth, it's a layer. It is a layer around the earth. People call it a dome. It is a protection layer where the Lord is keeping out whatever could destroy the earth or destroy the people on the earth. That is His protection on the planet. So anyway, that I talked about my dream. I talked about what I do about these other two companies, like the company CERN. They tell me some the company CERN is out or whatever a day before. I don't think so. That company's still going. Y'all gonna have to figure this out. But either way it goes, I put all this out here to say keep your eyes open. It is a lot of hell going on this earth. A lot of hell. It is not easy to live here. But the children of God, we got to keep pushing through, keep praying, keep fasting, keep asking the Lord to help you through. And hopefully this all will be over soon. If not, we're just going to keep on trying to keep pushing till we get to heaven's side, you guys. But I said everything I got to say. This has been a very eye-opening night. From the dreams I had to just information I was able to find out today. I hope and pray you guys make it. And I hope that the right people listen to this broadcast and can use this information however you need to. If not, then let it pass over you. Like I said, these are all dreams. These are all visions and dreams I have when I go to sleep. And if it feels like it's something that needs to be said, I'm going to say it, and hopefully helps out the masses at large or at hand. Anyway, y'all have a blessed night. Good night.